And this brings us on to the latest study in this series of how Ambien may produce a form of sleep that doesn't transact the normal functions. We've just spoken about learning, memory, brain plasticity, but now we're going to speak about the brain's specialized waste clearing network. Now, it turns out here that we're going to talk about another neurotransmitter system in the brain, because that cleansing system, that sort of power cleanse for the brain that happens at night as we sleep by way of the glymphatic system, is in part controlled by the pulsing waves of activity of a neurotransmitter called norepinephrine. And those pulsing waves of norepinephrine, together with something that we call cerebrospinal fluid, which is this wonderful fluid that bathes your brain and also your spinal cord, these two systems combine and they allow essentially a flushing out of all of the harmful solutes that have been building up in and around your brain cells at night. So what they found was that Ambien significantly impaired those pulsing waves of that critical neurotransmitter that I mentioned, norepinephrine. And in fact, it dropped the size of those pulses of norepinephrine waves by 50%. And as a consequence, it dropped the rhythmic pumping action that was essential for the glymphatic flow of cleansing solution throughout the brain. And because of that 50% impairment in norepinephrine magnitude of activity caused by Ambien suppression, it reduced the glymphatic clearance of all of that metabolic detritus by 32% in terms of the cerebrospinal inflow to the brain. So in other words, that Ambien-induced sleep was dropping the cleansing capacity of the cerebrospinal fluid through the brain by almost 1/3 across the brain in general.